Good morning. Welcome to the Sunday service of Unitarian Universalist congregation of Grand Traverse. My name's Dan Tholen, and I'm happy to be with you this morning. Today, we celebrate Ostara, the Spring Equinox, a moment when light and dark stands in the balance and the world tips towards new growth. It's a beautiful time to gather and reflect on what's blooming in our lives and in the community at this time. Here at UUCGT, we welcome people of every background, identity, and age. Whether you're here in the sanctuary or joining us online, whether you're here for the first time or whether you're a regular, we're glad you're here with us today, here and online. If you're visiting with us today, we'd love to get to know you. If you're comfortable, we invite you to stand and introduce yourself. A microphone will be brought so everyone can hear. And if you prefer not to speak, that's perfectly fine too. Are there any visitors? Anywhere? No, all right. Well, everybody welcome. If you are new this morning and you'd like to, at the social hour, grab a yellow cup and we can tell that you're a visitor and introduce ourselves. Later in the service, we'll also share our joys and concerns with the rest of the community. You're invited to write any joys and concerns to the left, your left over there in the book, and light a candle, and they'll be read by a member of the congregational care team. You're also welcome to light a candle for your joy or concern at any point during the service. Before getting into the service today, I have a few announcements. First of all, the Northern Michigan Justice Singers practice is today at 1 o'clock at the Presbyterian Church on Westminster Street. That's the Northern Michigan Justice Singers practice. We also have an announcement from the Social Justice Action Committee, and then we'll have an appeal from Rich Fowler. The Social Justice Action Team invites you to take a stand and come to their party this coming Friday night at 5:30, Friday night the 27th at 5:30, No Kings 3 sign making and pizza family night at UUCGT. We'll supply the materials and the pizza. You bring a creative slogans, your children, your neighbors, and friends. Registration link is on the OSS insert, the order of service insert, I think. So again, rally with the UUC, and then rally with the UUCGT friends at F&M Park on Saturday, the No Kings 3 March on Saturday. We'll meet at 12:30 at the F&M Park basketball court. You can find that there. It's pretty close to the corner of Washington and Railroad. So the 28th, Saturday, 12:30. Also Friday night, 7:30 here to make some signs. So 5:30. On Friday. 5:30 Friday. Be there, be square. Okay, we'll march through town and we'll take a stand against authoritarianism. We recall David Borenstein's words at the Academy Awards when accepting for Mr. Nobody against Mr. Putin, warning that countries lose independence through countless small acts of complicity. We all face a moral choice to do something, so join the community and show up against authoritarianism and all things that don't put love at the center. And now, Rich.
Down to pint size. Everybody hear me? Oh, yeah. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Rich Fowler. I am one of the co-coordinators for our outreach at Safe Harbor, along with Betsy Wacker. I use he and him pronouns. This is about paying attention. Our congregational history serving the homeless here at the UU dates back to the winter of 2003. Which was very much like the winter now. There were many nights, particularly during the months of February and March, where the low temperature was well below zero. It was then that one of the homeless in our community who was camping in the pines froze to death. The neighboring church, the Church of the Nazarene, paid attention. And in response to this tragedy, opened its doors to the homeless so they could sleep in a safe, heated space and have some hot food. They thought that their effort would be necessary for about 10 days. And in reality, it lasted about 40. They reached out to other congregations for help. Volunteers from the UUCGT responded. The concept of Safe Harbor, where a series of churches opened their doors to house the homeless during the winter, started in 2004. It was a round-robin affair where homeless guests were transported from locations in the center of town to the participating churches where a meal was served, and then they were housed overnight on mats. Once again, the UU paid attention. Volunteers served the guests not only at the other churches, but eventually here in this building. The number of homeless people who were sheltered during the winter has increased over the decades from about 1,600 bed nights in the 2003-2004 season to almost 10,000 nights in the 2017-2018 season, which was the first year the new shelter facility opened. Through all of this, the UUC congregation paid attention, and they were there volunteering. Now the Pines are closed. Housing prices and rent are skyrocketing, particularly in this region. Federal funding to support the homeless neighbors, our homeless neighbors, is being slashed by the current administration. Last year, Safe Harbor was granted funding for a 2-year pilot program to house the homeless 365 days a year. In the calendar year 2025, we had 25,543 bed nights. UU is still there paying attention to the need of our neighbors. However, as the years have passed, many of our dependable volunteers have aged out and our volunteer bench has become thin. Our second week of commitment this year is coming up soon at the end of April, and we will need help. A summer UU week is planned as well, just like last year, but this year starting on June 13th. What is new is that the shelter is asking congregations to help support meals in the summertime as well, as the number of community meals have diminished and our guests are now gathering at the shelter. Our Safe Harbor outreach allows us to put into practice many of our 8 principles, which we covenant to promote. What comes to mind to me is the inherent worth and dignity of every person, justice, equity, compassion, and human relations, and the acceptance of one another as we are. Personally, participation as a volunteer at Safe Harbor opened my eyes to the many causes of homelessness in our community, as well to the many obstacles encountered by those striving to escape its grasp. It has also allowed me to recognize and reflect upon my own jaded preconceptions of homelessness and of those who suffer from it, and come to a hopefully truer understanding of what is going on in our society, as well as inside of myself. Despite the rock-solid support we have received from Congregation Beth Shalom, the UU Zen Group, and also from the GT Humanists at Safe Harbor, the reality is we cannot commit to this increased level of support without more volunteers from the UU. Some willing to consider being kitchen leads, who, by the way, we will support and train. We have seen the need historically to help our homeless neighbors and paid attention, and I think we can continue to do it together again. You can sign up or have questions answered at the Safe Harbor table out in the social hall. We still have openings for April. June is just about completely vacant. And there will be a meeting next Sunday for anybody interested in being a kitchen lead, and we will have our current kitchens lead there to demystify the position and answer questions. Thank you for the indulgence of your time.
And now, as we begin, I invite you to set aside the busyness of the week. Open yourself to what the morning holds. Please silence your phones so we can be fully present with one another. Now let us worship together.
Let the mountains talk, let the rivers run. There's wisdom here, there's so much to learn. There's much to know, much to understand. In this healing time, all across the land, you have heard my songs for so many years. You have laughed with me, washed away my tears. You have shared my joy. You have held my faith in this healing time. Walk with me again through these darker days, down this narrow line. Help me find my way. Help me see the sign. I am not afraid. I am not alone. You have told me well. You have brought me home. Let the mountains talk, let the rivers run. There's wisdom here, there's so much to learn. Each brand new day in our own rebirth, in this healing time, dear Mother Earth. Let the mountains talk, let the rivers run. There is wisdom here, there's so much to learn. A brand new day in our own rebirth, in this healing time, here on Mother Earth.
Good morning. My name is Teresa Spihar, and I use she and her pronouns. And I'm so very honored to see all of you here and participate in today's service. So we are going to be closing the circle here for Ostara, which is the rebirth of the land. We usually recommend or recognize it as spring. You can see with our weather today, we're usually a few weeks off about this time of year where we live. However, I also like to recognize that it's also kind of a rebirth. We can choose to do that with ourselves. If there are habits that you're recognizing are no longer serving you and you want to change them, things that you want to do to help yourself be creative and grow, now is the time. Any day is a good time, but we can also personally choose today as a time to be, celebrate rebirth. So I'm going to ask that we imagine that there is a huge circle all around the building and for the people that are online, because obviously I can't enclose everybody with this. So I'm going to start in the east. Spirits of the east, spirit of air, you blow through our souls like a warm spring breeze, whispering the mysteries of the universe. Sorry, welcome. Excuse me. Spirit of the south, spirit of fire, please come warm our land and spark our desire to learn and to grow. Welcome. Spirits of the west, spirits of water, you nourish the seeds in the earth. Welcome. Spirits of the north, spirits of earth, you bring forth new life. Welcome. Our circle is now closed, and may we celebrate today. Thank you. I'm going to light the chalice now.
Would you please rise in body or in spirit and join me in singing The Tide is Rising, our virtual hymn for the month of March. Tide is rising, and so are we. The tide is rising, and so are we. The tide is rising, and so are we. This is where we are called.
right, kiddos, come on forward. The young and young at heart. Come on up and join us. Can you stay on the floor today so we're not too close to the cauldron? Fire safety, friends. I don't know what that is. All right, hi. We have a full carpet this morning. This is so exciting. I missed you all last week. I missed all of you last week. All right, Blessed Ostara, my friends. Today, actually, not today. Today we're celebrating. Yesterday and the day before, we were celebrating the Spring Equinox. What is the equinox? What happens? Day and night are equal. And theoretically, unless you live in northern Michigan, it's the start of spring. Unless you had a blizzard 3 days before. But even then, even so, we are starting to see signs of life outside. So I have a reading from our book. This is the Wheel of the Year book that we've been using throughout the year during all of our Wheel of the Year services. And this is The Rhythm of the Wheel. Let's begin with Ostara, the spring equinox, also called the vernal equinox. Ostara is the dawn celebration of the Wheel of the Year. We emerge from the cold, dark days of winter, leave behind what we no longer need, and take our first steps into new beginnings with purpose, lightness, and joy. It is a time of balance and renewal with promises of longer days swirling in the air. Equinox means equal night. There are exactly as many hours of daylight as there are of night, and the sun shines directly onto the Earth's equator. This happens twice a year, on the first day of spring and the first day of autumn, and it happens because of the tilt of the Earth's axis. If you are in the northern hemisphere, that's us. The days get a little longer following the spring equinox, but if you live in the southern hemisphere, the days will be shrinking. No matter where you live, you can celebrate the spring equinox. It's no coincidence that many of the themes of this holiday span place, time, and culture. A sense of possibility, of new beginnings, is in the very light and air. Ostara is the season of buds, not blossoms. It's a yawn, a big full body stretch, and a wiggling of the toes as the world warms up and gets ready to come alive. Ice is melting, the hard frozen ground begins to thaw. It's a time of softening and loosening. We made it through the darkest days of winter. Now we crack a window to clear out the stale air and let in fresh breeze. Some years, there might still be snow on the ground. Yep. Quite a lot, in fact. But despite the unpredictable aspects of the season, there's always a tinge of hope. The temperature may be brisk, and we'll probably need a sweater and a hat on our walks outside. But we know that soon, my friends, we will be out in short sleeves. Hope keeps us moving in the direction of light, life, and longer days. Take your time. You don't need to rush into anything. It's normal to sometimes feel a little overwhelmed by change, especially since we're processing the lessons from winter. If you feel hyper or pulled in too many directions, slow down. Focus on one thing, one small bud in a tree or a single bird. The next 6 weeks until Beltane, focus on growth, but also balance. Take them gradually, a little at a time, even if it's tempting to try to do everything at once. Oh, that feels real. All right, my friends, I have a question for you. What, even in the snow, have you noticed any signs of spring? What have you noticed?
My snow is melting and I see some grass.
Your snow is melting and you see some grass. Oh, that's exciting. What do you see?
The snow is melting very fast and there's a lot of dirt.
There is a lot of dirt underneath the snow as it is melting very fast. And you can see the dirt. Hooray. Soon we can plant things in the dirt. The red-winged blackbirds are out. I saw geese coming home the other day, not flying south.
I saw two flying over the house.
You saw two flying over your house.
Last time I saw a robin.
You saw a robin. That's a big sign of spring. That's very exciting. Anybody else see any signs of spring? It's a little early for the trees to be budding. What did you see? You heard a robin?
And quite a few
And crows?
1,000.
1,000 crows. That's a lot of crows. That's a little bit of a Hitchcock movie situation. All over the window. Yeah, I don't know if the crows, I don't know how far they migrate. So we think about all of these signs of spring. And I want us to do a quick little getting in our body exercise, and this is for everybody. So we heard how spring is like a big stretch, so do a big stretch. Oh, that feels good. Big stretch, big stretch, big stretch. Does anybody have a dog at home, and when they do big stretch, you have to say, big stretch? It's a rule. It's a rule if you have a dog. You have to say big stretch, or cat. Cats do it too. Big stretch. And think about a sign of spring that resonates with you. So back when we did our Yule service, we did a lot of releasing. We were thinking about things we were letting go of. And now, as we come into spring, we want to think about planting and what seeds are we sowing in the earth. So in your mind, close your eyes if it feels comfortable, or lower your gaze. Think about a sign of spring that feels like it calls to you. This could be a symbol, this could be a seed, a bud on a tree, a bird, an egg, a nest. But think about those signs of spring and what's one that calls to you. And you envision that thing, and while you think about that, think about something in your life that you're ready to plant an intention. This could be a habit you are wanting to call into your life. This could be just a change of attitude, a ritual you want to bring into your life. So what is an intention that you want to set for this season? And call that in as you envision whatever your sign of spring is. And envision the sunlight and feel the spring breeze around whatever your sign of spring might be. And let that sunlight and the air and the water from the melting snow and the richness of the earth nurture those signs of spring as they nurture your intentions. So feel the warming of the earth. Feel the light of the sun getting longer, the days getting longer. Feel that big stretch into spring. But let it be slow. Don't rush. Don't feel like you have to change everything today. But just envision your intention for this season as that bud, as that little egg. Because an egg, when it hatches, doesn't, a full-grown bird doesn't come out, right? That would be weird. It's a little baby bird, and it still needs nurturing, and it still needs care. And a bud doesn't turn into a leaf or a flower overnight. It needs nurturing, it needs nutrients, it needs care. So as you envision all of these signs of spring, my friends, envision your intentions and your hopes for this season as those little things. And remember, they need nurturing, they need care, and they need time. Let's take a deep breath together. And let's sing our children's song, accompanied by Sheridan.
We are children of the stars, we are children of the earth, we are spinners and weavers in this web of life, and the joy that we weave reaches out beyond the stars and deep within the center of our being. We are children of tomorrow, we are children of our dreams. We are planners and builders in this web of life, and the future that we weave reaches out beyond the stars and deep within the center of our being.
My name is Mary Van Valen, and I've been around UUCGT for about 50 years. Back when we were just a fellowship, not even a congregation. And you've heard those stories about meeting in the chemistry lab at NMC that long ago. This congregation has been such an inspiration, an educational institution for me. Each role I played over the years has taught me important life skills and has always expanded my life view. I look back over those 50 years with such gratitude, not only for the learning, but for the community, purpose, and solidarity. We create light beyond these walls in so many ways. Brian asked me to speak about our social justice work today. Well, the light of our social justice work has always been blazing. I so fondly remember the first really big congregation-wide project. It was 25 years ago when an outside group came to Traverse City and wanted our city to adopt fancy wording for what was really discrimination against our LGBTQ+ citizens. We met as a congregation to commit ourselves to working against discrimination. And we walked door to door, had informational meetings, sent mailings all over the place. And we even held a huge anti-discrimination concert at the Denos. I still hold in my heart the duet that Shelley Burns and Kevin Weber sang along with the VE. This is my city. This is my home. Enter my city. Enter my home. Come, be welcome. In the 25 years since then, we have continued to work for justice. Recently, we are becoming masterful artists at making protest signs for No Kings, this time 3. Be sure to come Friday night. You can sign up today in the social hall. We show up in force at those protests. We work behind the scenes to influence the TCAP school board to embrace equity in their strategic plans. We volunteer in the first grade at Traverse Heights and work with kids in small groups with math concepts. We support NOMI and JPAC and their Know Your Rights trainings and mutual aid work to help protect our immigrant neighbors. We work with Michigan UU Social Justice to make calls to our legislators. We connect with the League of Women Voters to promote the vote. This congregation shows up to serve the unhoused at Safe Harbor. Thank you. We respond to needs in our community, like the books on the bus you gave. TC to TC, Traverse City to the Twin Cities. You sent so much to the people in need in Minnesota, and we thank Seed for organizing that. We might have the best kept website for social justice activities in this whole community right on our UUCGT website, thanks to our webmaster, Steve Sanders. If you need to know, yes. If you need to know what's happening locally, take a look. We even sponsored an Emma's Revolution concert. These are some of the wonders of our social justice work here at UUCGT, and we welcome all hearts and hands available to help. As we take action to promote peace and justice, we continue to shine our lights all over the place. This is a congregation worth supporting in any way you can. It's an investment in goodness. It's an investment in goodness, in justice, in compassion. It's an investment in love. Thank you.
Today is the last Sunday of our annual budget drive, and I want to speak to that directly before we receive this morning's offering. Our goal is $310,000 for next year. We need this just to sustain our operations and to continue the growth and the activities that we've planned or that we're already committed to. As of this weekend, we've received $241,000 in pledges. We're deeply grateful for everyone who stepped forward. That's 97 pledges out of 170 friends and members that have been contacted. If you haven't yet pledged and feel moved to do so, today is the day. Pledge forms are out in the hallway by the welcome table, and there's a box marked pledge forms to drop them in. You can also scan one of the QR codes to pledge online. Indeed, if you intend to pledge this year, let us know so that we can plan a full budget. We need to do our planning based on pledges, not on hopes. Ostara is the season of new beginnings, of seeds planted, of things coming into bloom. A pledge is its own kind of seed, a commitment that something worth tending will keep growing. This congregation runs entirely on the generosity of those who find meaning here. And your pledge helps us plan, grow, and show up for one another and for the community all year long. Today, your ushers will pass baskets with two sides, one supporting the life and ministry of the congregation, and the other supporting community needs. You can also give using the options on the screen. If giving by check, online, or through the app, please note that in the memo whether your gift is for your pledge, for community service, or for a special collection. If you're a guest today, please simply let the basket pass. Your presence is gift enough. We now gratefully receive the morning's offering.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Arlene Moismantle, a member of the Congregational Care Team. We pause now to hold what has been shared the joys, the concerns, the milestones, and moments of this gathered community. If anything feels too heavy to carry alone, reach out to Reverend Alex or look for a care team member with a purple ribbon on their name tag. Say it with me. None of us is meant to travel life's journey alone. Here is what has been shared with this gathered community. From Chelsea, earlier this week, our seed staff member, Miss Nikki, was in an accident that totaled her car. She was not seriously injured, but she is feeling shaken and asks for loving thoughts for her and her family. This is from Lori and Marty Hayden. We want to share the joy that we depart on Wednesday to attend our daughter Caroline's wedding in Hilo, Hawaii. Congratulations. This is from Dave and Mary Newhouse. Please carry our sister Gloria in your hearts and prayers. She is succumbing quickly to cancers and facing her end, only 72, and a real light in our family. And now, let's hold a moment of stillness for what remains in the silence and on our hearts.
Now is the time in our service for our stone meditation. As you feel moved, please come forward to take a stone and place it in our water.
Would you please join in singing our song of response, Spirit of Life? Spirit of life, come unto me. Stay in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind.
sorry, yes, 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 yes. This is an excerpt from The Wheel of the Year, an illustrated guide to nature's rhythm by Fiona Cook and illustrated by Jessica Rue. The spring equinox is an ideal time to start your seeds so that come summer, your plants will be large, healthy, and hardy. Think about what you want to grow. Flowers, herbs. A small herb garden is a good place to start. If you don't have space outside, you can grow plants in pots inside near a window. Just as you sow seeds that you hope to tend into strong, healthy plants, you can also set personal intentions. Not just goals for what you hope to achieve in the future, but also for who you want to become. A season of birth and renewal. Spring is an especially potent time to state your hopes and dreams, calling them forth. Even though we're looking for signs of life, when out on Ostara walks, we may come across death. If you live in a place that gets snow, it's likely to be melting now, and the thaw lets loose smells of decay that have been frozen over in winter. Finding a dead animal can be shocking or sad. It can be helpful to stand, or if you want to crouch down over the little body and say a few words. Sometimes, out on my walks, I have come across deer. But the deer is returning to the earth where its body will bring nutrients to the soil and help new life to grow. Spring can be painful, as joyful as it is. Sometimes spring carries with it the sorrow of our losses over winter. It's important not to run too quickly from what we've just been through, though. This is what's called a liminal time, a sort of in-between stage, a time of transition. Often, death and birth stand side by side.
The Svalbard Global Seed Vault is an Arctic bank of sorts that serves as a backup for all kinds of seeds for the world's food and crops, all on the remote Norwegian island of Spitsbergen. This seed bank provides long-term storage for seeds around the world and ensures that the world's food supply won't ever be lost due to all sorts of devastations. Nuclear war, violence, sabotage, disease, funding cuts, and natural disasters, to name a few. In its vaults, the bank currently holds over 1.3 million seeds, with over 132 countries making these deposits. We might think it a little odd to store seeds in a bank like currency, yet if we go back not all that long ago in our history, we see how seeds were, in fact, the original coin and currency. The Aztec and Maya, for example, used cacao beans as a medium of exchange and never used metal coins. Likewise, in ancient Mesopotamia, barley is considered to be the first official currency in recorded history, from 3,000 years before the Common Era. With these 132 depositing countries at Svalbard, there's only one time in its entire history that a country has had to make a withdrawal, and it was something that shocked me when I first heard about it. A team of Syrian researchers were unable to maintain the country's seed supplies as a result of Syria's civil war. In both 2015 and in 2017, they withdrew some seeds and samples from the vault so that they could try to regenerate their seed stores. It's important to note that Syria was actually one of the first nations to ever deposit at Svalbard, one of the founding nations for this project back in 2008. The devastations from war and violence offer us a cautionary tale. a cautionary tale of how our actions and our inactions can affect even the Earth's cycle itself. Yet in our world today, Syria is not alone. The world is full of places where the ground has been salted by war and conflict. Sudan, Congo, Myanmar, Yemen, Gaza, Ukraine, and lately, Iran. People there are in a place of watching and waiting, wondering if anything good will persevere and grow. So much wholesale destruction and devastation meets us here as we hold the promises of growth and new life that spring so often brings. With all this talk of seeds, I'm reminded of Octavia Butler's The Parable of the Sower. Are any of you familiar with The Parable of the Sower? In this book, we glimpse by way of science fiction a world that's collapsing under climate catastrophe, political violence, and economic devastation. A world not that unlike our own. In this futuristic world, a young black woman named Lauren begins writing a secret theology in her journal, while the walls of her community are still standing. Everyone around her insists that everything will be just fine. She calls her secret theology Earthseed, from which she articulates a powerful and prophetic conviction. God is change. As Butler describes through her character, Lauren's eyes, I was weeding the back garden and thinking about the ways that plants seed themselves, wind-borne, animal-borne, and water-borne, far from their parent plants. They have no ability at all to travel great distances under their own power, and yet they do travel. Earthseed. I am Earthseed. Anyone can be. When Lauren's community is destroyed, she survives the destruction by heading north, carrying the seeds of plants for growing food. She already knows the deep truth that you plant what you need before you know whether it will even grow. The book ends with Lauren and a group of survivors burying the dead among them and planting oak trees in the same act, calling this new place Acorn. Even plants without the power to travel still manage to find their ways to islands and remote places thousands of miles away. Earthseed is the promise that life always finds a way, not by force or coercion, but by patience, by dispersion, by sowing seeds on fertile and receptive ground. Ostara reminds us of this message. Life perseveres even in the midst of so much destruction and death. But more than that, death and new life exist side by side, like new sprouting oaks on barren and fallow ground, actively transforming death and destruction into forms of new life and growth. This is the deeper promise of Ostara in this liminal time, that death and life are always companions on life's journey. Svalbard's seed bank offers us more than just a cautionary tale. There's actually more to the story that's important to name, that's even more hopeful. Not only have all the seeds germinated that Syria withdrew, new seeds were even produced in abundance. To date, 25 million seeds from 53 different species were redeposited at Svalbard following that first withdrawal. Seeds offer their own message of abundance and germination. This vault, functioning exactly as it was promised, to preserve and propagate life, has led to the seeds coming back. This story offers us a real-life example of how death isn't ever the end of the story. God is change. life always finds a way. Our congregation here is actually a form of a seed bank in this world of ours, as we confront daily challenges of climate change, societal and political upheaval, and growing authoritarianism and fascism in our nation. We hold the seeds of memory and vision, seeds of our past and our future. It is here that memory reminds us of beloved community and radical love, a love that embraces differences rather than fear, which tells us to turn away from each other. It is here where moments of music, whimsy, and good humor spark in us these internal seeds of life that remind us that we're not alone, that even help us to glimpse a future that's still possible. And likewise, it is here that we envision our wildest dreams for our world, where we dare to believe, despite destruction and violence all around us, that life is still worthy of saving. You each are the seed vaults and the seed bearers of a country and world we have not and we must not give up on. This Ostara, as you hold these seeds of memory and vision, of past and future, of overwhelming grief and renewing hope, where will you plant your seeds? Like Lauren from the parable of the sower, where can you meet this change with fierce courage and possibility? Each of us is the sower for the kind of country and world we wish to see. Every one of us is responsible for tending the garden. Where are you feeling called to water and to tend, to nurture and to sustain, to cultivate and to create? Ostara leaves us with this solemn promise: God is change. Life carries on. Death never has the final say. Blessed be. Let's join now in a brief moment of stillness.
We hope you'll all join us in this old song that will remind us once again where the flowers are growing, and yet next to life is death. So, where have all the flowers gone?
Where
And now I'm going to open the circle. Even though the circle is open, though, it is not broken. We carry our community with us every day. So I'm going to say, spirits of the north, spirits of earth, we thank you for your presence this morning. Stay if you will, go if you must, hail and farewell. Spirits of the west, spirits of water, we thank you for your presence this morning. Stay if you will, go if you must, hail and farewell. Spirits of the south, spirits of water, we thank you for your presence today. Stay if you will, go if you must, hail and farewell. She's got it. Spirits of the east, spirits of air, thank you for your presence this morning. Stay if you will, go if you must. Hail and farewell. Thank you. Okay. All right, here we go. Thank you.
Join hands with your neighbor, or you can outstretch your hand in the symbol of please do not touch me if you're someone that doesn't like to be touched. Those of you online are also welcome to outstretch your hands as we just take this moment now and feel our connections to one another, to all people in this room, in this community, and in this world. And in the spirit of covenant, community, and commitment, may we be made ready to serve one another and create that world we so desperately dream of. Go in peace. May it be so. Grow in love. Amen.